Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 84. On December 1st, 2021, I am Trevor Ohlsen, your host for the day, the afternoon, the evening, the night, the dawn, the dusk. I always get those two mixed up. Trevor Ohlsen, good to be here. It's a pleasure. What's going on? December 1st, can you believe it? The years, as always, fly by. I've just accepted that no matter what, they fly by. And as a young, spry, healthy, zest-filled 26-year-old, they're flying by very quickly. You know, people always say, I always hear the older people, the older folks, they're always saying, oh, just wait till you get my age, sonny boy, then the time's really gonna fly. And it's like, it's already going fast, dude. Like, how much faster can it go? December 1st, today, 2021. Have you done your Christmas shopping? I haven't. However, I was a good young lad here, and I went and got myself a Christmas tree. Really got the Christmas tree at the parents' house all set up. And usually my parents don't get a Christmas tree until December 24th. So it's rushed and usually stolen. We stole a Christmas tree once. That's the Christmas spirit. And yeah, it was me and my mom. We basically just drove to this land that wasn't ours, saw a good tree, and we're like, fuck it. Let's put some presents under that bitch. So, but this year I just went out. I was going to buy one. This year, which we've never bought a tree before. But I decided, well, actually, I would have bought one, except here's what happened. I went to the place to go buy a tree, asked if they accepted cards and like playing cards. You guys take jokers? Asked if they accepted credit cards, debit cards, and they didn't. And so I said, it's 2021, what the fuck? I didn't say that. I know the people who were selling the trees. They're nice people. But after that, I was like, well, then I started asking about prices too, and reasonable prices, as, whatever you expect them to be. But I had never bought one before, so I expected anywhere from maybe like $40, and it was about $40 for the smaller ones, up to $75 for the real, high-end, special, massive ones. So, but because they didn't accept cards, I cruised off to my grandfather's property, waltzed on out into the wilderness, and chopped down. Oh my God, you guys should have seen me try and chop down this tree. I should say saw down this tree. So it was a tall enough pine tree to where I only needed really the top half of it. The top half looked decent. And so that way you're not killing the whole tree. There's still 4 feet, 5 left of a tree, and it can go do its thing, hopefully. But I took the top half, and I just grabbed the first saw that I saw in the garage, and it's actually a bone saw. And I had just previously used this saw to do exactly that, to saw through my deer's skull right into its brain. And then it's crazy when you saw into a deer's head, because you're sawing into an animal's head. And you saw right, how do you do it? Right in the front. Yeah. So basically, right in the front, before their eyes, you saw down, and then you flip the head, and then you saw at a different angle, and then you smash the head on the ground and get the antlers. But anyway, so I grabbed this bone saw and went out to the wilderness, went to saw down this tree, and it would, I'd start sawing, and it'd be going and going and going just fine, and then it would just get stuck, and it would not move. And so I'd pull it out, and I'd start on another side. So I basically did this all the way around. And then, oh my God, you guys should see me. I was like a fucking mad gorilla. I just, at one point, because I had sawed enough to where it was clearly beginning to, the structure was compromised. But I jumped on top of this tree because I was getting so frustrated because the saw was just completely stuck. At one point, I almost couldn't get it out. And I jumped up on this tree and just started shaking it like a psychopath, and I'm swearing and freaking out, losing my temper. And I just was kind of also at the same time watching myself, and I was like, this is not the right kind of energy that should be being used that's going into getting a Christmas tree. It's like motherfucker! I'm grabbing the tree and shaking it and like nearly uprooting it. Yeah, but eventually I got to one side of it and just pushed really hard and then started sawing. And then finally, since the pressure from the tree wasn't on the saw, I could keep sawing it, and finally it went down. But oh my gosh, it took like probably took like 10 minutes. It felt like it took 30. And by the end, I was sweating and exhausted. It was a full-on workout just chopping this tree down. So silly. But man, I just threw it on top of the vehicle, cruised on back, brought it back, got it in the old Christmas tree stand, Standy McStanderson, and which that in and of itself can be a challenge, because it's these basically these screws go out and lock the tree in place, but there's these 4 wooden blocks as well, and at least the one that we have, and it can be kind of difficult to get the tree in there and get it set up properly. And I could just feel myself beginning to lose my temper again, and I was like, no, you're not allowed to lose your temper on this one. Calm down. And so I was like, nope, disconnect. So I put everything down, and I just went and sat down for like a minute and just took probably 7 or 8 very deep breaths. And just totally helped calm me down. It's amazing how just breath work can change how you completely feel. And so that's kind of a goal of mine. I'm realizing, I feel like as I'm getting older, and this in my opinion is going the opposite direction. Like, I'm losing my temper on things I shouldn't be losing my temper on. And I don't want to be that guy who's losing his temper. And so just something that's definitely is something I need to get under control. It's not like I'm lashing out at people. I'm not. And I only ever really lose my temper when I'm kind of alone and by myself, and I allow myself to become a psycho. But it's still not good for me, just as an individual. And so I don't want to lose my temper. And so, but I hear Jocko Willink talk about that a lot, how he's like, you got to learn how to control your temper, and, you detach, and you can't get emotional, and he's really talking about during like war times, but you can apply that to everyday life as well. And yeah, but I was actually really proud of myself, because I could feel myself losing my temper when I was trying to get this get the tree in the tree stand, and I just disconnected for a little bit, took some deep breaths, and I was like, I put up a boundary. I was like, you're not allowed to get angry. You're not allowed to get angry. This is a Christmas tree, all right? You can't set up a Christmas tree out of pure rage and anger, okay? You just can't do it. It's like, here's your fucking tree. No, you don't want that. I just want the nice tree in the nice house, looking nice. And now we have that. It's all up. There's garland on it, lights. We're waiting for the kiddos to come over, my nieces to come over and put the ornaments on it. Just as something fun for them to do. So we're holding off on that. But they're all sick right now. Everybody in pretty much my entire family is sick, including myself ever so slightly. I have the slightest, and today I'm feeling pretty darn good, even better, I would say. Feeling a little bit in my throat, but that's starting to go away. But my mom has a cold, and then Shane was sick. Both my nieces were sick, and then Allie's now sick. So I think the only ones that are in the clear completely is my dad and Aaron. So everyone's sick, but it's that time of year. And it is what it is. I was just, and speaking of breathing, calming down your anger, I've been really disciplined again with getting back into doing the Wim Hof breathing method, which I did nearly every day for a year. I put up a video the YouTube channel if you guys are interested. Just type in Trevor Ohlsen Wim Hof breathing technique. The video should come up if the fucking Google, search, what's it called? Search engine results? I don't know. Search engine optimization, all that metadata stuff that I don't really know. It should come up if you type that in. But I've been very, 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 very disciplined, getting back into doing the Wim Hof breathing technique almost every day, and he is such a fascinating guy. If you haven't taken the time to check out Wim Hof, I would encourage it. I would definitely encourage it because he's a very unique individual, and he's entertaining and he's funny. But also, at the end of the day, he's just trying to help people to be, as he says, happy, healthy, and strong. And he believes that the most straightforward method of doing that is to do this breathing technique, which it's become the Wim Hof breathing technique. Really, it's a form of breath work that's thousands of years old, but he has popularized it, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before. But I haven't listened to him before on Joe Rogan, so I'm listening. I know he's been on there a couple of times, so I'm listening to him right now. But my favorite podcast with him is that really got me into his breathing technique is the one with Russell Brand, him and Russell Brand. So, and that one's free on YouTube. I know that there's some other ones that are specific to, or that are on Russell's exclusive podcast on Luminary, but there's a free one right on YouTube. But he's right about so many things, as far as the way society, and I'm not upset about society, but basically the way society is set up. There's many good things about society. Many good things. But I'm not arguing that society is perfect or evil. But he argues that the way society is set up, it's basically not meeting our needs, and so we are anxious and depressed and suicidal and all these different things, and we need to rethink our values, and then we need to stimulate our bodies. And so he argues that we're not being physically stimulated enough. And I'm not quoting, but he argues that we're destimulated, that we're always wearing clothes, and so we're never cold. And so he's big on breath work, and he's big on cold therapy. And so he's always getting in ice and just in very, very cold temperatures. And he's also doing heat as well. And so, but he's just done so many incredible things. He's ran a half marathon, I think they said in Finland, in negative 30-degree temperatures with just his shorts on and barefoot, 13 miles. It's like, just go step outside in the snow. Try for a minute to walk barefoot in snow and see how your feet feel. And he ran 13 miles, which is just crazy to think of. But I will say, after a while, I would imagine your feet just go numb. But he's got a disciplined mind. I mean, his mind is, he is superior in that regard, his mental attitude. And what's fascinating about that is that he wasn't always like that. He was depressed. His wife committed suicide when he was, I think, in his early 20s. He was very young. And he was struggling, and he had 4 kids and no money, and he was just trying to figure out how to feel good and to, combat this horrible feeling that he was experiencing, which he says was depression. Which, of course, that's what you're going to experience if your wife kills herself. But, he found healing in immersing himself in cold water, and then through immersing himself in cold water, he started to pay attention to how his body was just responding with the deep breaths. And then he just started focusing on breath, and now he does a combination of both. And he's had such an impact on the world. I love when people just spread, health and love and positivity and overall influence the world in a positive way. You can be a part of the good and not the bad. Which, speaking of which, I watched this show on Netflix the other day, and it is fucked up. Maybe you've seen it, but it's called "Don't Fuck with Cats." Don't fuck with cats. And without giving too much away, without spoiling it, essentially, there's this weird guy who starts posting videos on the internet in the early 2000s. I think it was early 2000s. I don't know the exact date, but starting posting videos on the internet, and it was him killing kittens. And there's something so fucked up about killing a kitten because it's so vulnerable and it's helpless essentially. It has no chance, and so it's like it's innocent and it's cute and fuzzy and adorable. There's something so fucked up about killing a cat, kittens, it's hard to watch because they don't show the full videos, but man, it's hard to watch that stuff, animal torture, and it's so fucked up because the animals don't deserve it. It really kind of if you're not a psycho, it enrages you. He just does these horrible things to these animals, and basically he's a psychopath. From what I can, he's a full-blown psychopath. And it leads up to him eventually murdering somebody, and then he films that as well, and he puts that up online. It's just a fucked up show, but it's a great story. It's a story. I mean, it's an amazing story. It's horrible for the person who was killed and the animals that were killed, but it's a fascinating story in the sense that and how he gets caught, and basically normal people like you and me play a huge role in it, and these are people who are. Admittedly, it's a little weird. He puts this video up online, people watch it, and they get furious, as expected, and then they make a Facebook group about, like, let's catch this motherfucker, basically, because it doesn't show his face completely, and it's insane. They do basically detective work on this Facebook group, which my first thought is like, how do you have the time to do that? Like one of the main people in the show, she was working full time at this casino. She had this big job, working many, many hours a day. But she said she was going through a breakup, and she just wanted something to distract herself. So she, was like, oh, I'll try to find this kitten killer. Let's figure out who he is. And then it turns into this like 18-month every night on her computer thing, which is crazy. Like, my thought is like I don't spend a whole lot of time on social media. I'm very, very cautious of how I use my time, specifically like on Facebook and Instagram, and because I know I can just get sucked into it. But like, I rarely comment on things, or I just kind of glance through and then I get off. But I mean, these people were just spending hours, hundreds of hours on Facebook, and just getting enraged by these videos, and rightfully so, getting enraged. I don't know, the way I thought, I was like, I mean, if you have a life, there's just no way you would have taken the time to find this kitten killer, so to speak. But it was just a crazy story that I had been wanting to watch for a while. That I kept seeing it pop up on Netflix. So if you're interested in it, it's short. It's a 3-part series. It's a 3-episode, mini documentary series, and it's fucked up, but it's very interesting. So if you want to check that out, it's called Don't Fuck with Cats. But it's interesting with those, with that show is, people, when the internet first started coming out, you could just kind of put anything up. I think the videos were even on YouTube. Him killing these animals. It's like, good luck doing shit like that nowadays on YouTube. It's like any fucked up videos that you want to put up or you want to watch, they're not going to really be on YouTube. You can watch some crazy videos on YouTube, but not like murder videos and animal torture and that shit. Like, I remember people telling me about those videos on YouTube, like some dude getting chopped up with a machete. I'm like, why are you watching that? Like, how are you watching? Like, I don't know. I can't watch that shit. I mean, I could. I just don't want to. You know, there's something so evil about not only murdering somebody, but filming it and then putting it online for people to watch. Like, that's so fucked up. So I had a hard time watching that show. I really did. I was like, this kid is like psycho and a complete narcissist as well. I know if you haven't watched it, the protagonist is a complete narcissist, which is a characteristic of all psychopaths, by the way. Not all sociopaths, I don't think. I think that's how. I think it's like, what is her name? There's this woman. Hold on here. On YouTube, who does a fantastic in-depth analysis of the difference between psychopaths and sociopaths. Let me type it in here. Psychopath versus sociopath. Here we go. And her name is Dr. Ramani. Dr. Ramani. And yeah, basically, I just typed in, it comes up, psychopath versus sociopath versus narcissist. And the first video that comes up is narcissist, psychopath, or sociopath, how to spot the difference. Dr. Ramani, and then it says X, med circle. And it's like a 12-minute video. So if you're interested in that, and it's very interesting, it's quite fascinating what she has to say. And if I'm remembering correctly from watching that video quite a while ago, she states that no. I think all sociopaths are narcissistic too, but not all narcissists. That's what it is. I think that's what it is. I think she says all sociopaths are narcissistic, but not all narcissists are sociopathic. And then all psychopaths are narcissistic. And the protagonist in Don't Fuck with Cats is a full-blown narcissist. I mean, it's so easy to see. And I find myself worried. I see narcissistic tendencies in myself. And I think there's levels of healthy narcissism where, maybe it shouldn't be called narcissism. Maybe just, I don't know, self-respect, or just trying to take care of yourselves or things like that. But I think a lot of, there's a lot of videos online right now talking about how basically we're raising a generation of narcissists. And, I don't know any data on it, but when you think about it, it makes sense. We're constantly, look what I'm doing. I'm talking, hoping people will watch, or knowing that, my small audience will, watch, listen, whatever. But just, everyone's throwing up videos or pictures on Instagram of, wanting likes and doing it on Facebook, doing the whole thing. And it is very narcissistic. Especially if I don't know, I think it can lead to unhealthy levels of narcissism. And I know that there's a lot of talk right now how we're breeding a generation of narcissists, which is quite possibly the case. Excuse me. And maybe that's an unintended consequence of technology. Maybe that's just, because that's the thing. And this is really interesting to me. It's when you create something, say you have a goal. Okay, I'm going to make really great laptops. Steve Jobs, or let's just, for argument's sake, I want to make the world's best laptop, the world's best phone. That's my goal. And then you do that, but then along the way, all these other, you invent that, but along the way you invent all of these side effects, like that have, for example, just go watch The Social Dilemma and see how everybody's essentially being manipulated in the technology that they're using. And how, well, you could say right away, with when the iPhone was created, and I know that what's his face has talked about this. He wrote the Dr. Robert Haidt? Robert Haidt? No. The Coddling of the American Mind. Let's see, the Coddling. Jonathan Haidt. not Robert. Jonathan Haidt has talked about this a good bit. Basically, in 2006, 2007, I think that's what it was, when the iPhone was created, there was just a massive uptick in particularly young girls uh, engaging in self-harm. And that's just an unintended consequence of the iPhone is not just the phone itself, but the technology that the social Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, everything, all that shit. I talked about this one other time before, but we had a family reunion, and this fella who was at the family reunion was there, and he's like 16, and he was just on his phone the whole time. He wasn't on his phone the whole time, but he was talking about dating. And you're 16 is hard enough when you're dating. Dating in 16, I don't know, it's just a weird time. But this motherfucker had, like, his girlfriend would, just weird things that they're looking at, as far as, oh, you're not snapping me back. Well, I see your snap score going up. Why aren't you snapping me? And he had, I can't remember, it was some ridiculous number. He had something like 1,000 unopened snaps and just like 1,000 messages. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And what's funny to me about it is you can get so sucked into your phone and you can be messaging literally 1,000 people. Just lost the video. Sorry about that. Last couple minutes here, I'll have to be without it. But what's crazy about that is that you're just sitting there on your phone by yourself, alone, and you feel like you're deeply engaged with other people. And you are, but just at such a superficial level. It's like Tinder. You can be on Tinder and you can have like 20 matches, but you're just fucking on the couch by yourself. Like, sure, I had a match, but it's like, or even just texting. My God, everyone gets wrapped up in this. Like, just getting wrapped up in texting people. That's horrible. I don't want to text anybody all the time, and I don't. My friends, I want to text my friends, like, well, it depends on who we're talking about, but I don't talk to anybody every day except my parents and just pretty much them and the people I see at the gym, and that's just simply due to a proximity. I'm seeing the same people every day, roughly. And so, but man, don't get wrapped up in texting, and especially if you want to go out with somebody, say you match with somebody online and you're interested in them. Like, whenever I've done that, if I'm interested in somebody, say we match or meet online, right away I go, let's meet. Right away. I'm like, hey, it's a match, let's say. And if I'm interested, I'll be like, hey, how's it going? And then if they respond, it's like, okay, well, they're interested. And then like they'll say, hey, it's going good. And I'll go, great. And the next thing I say is like, let's meet up. It's like, I don't want to get to know you. You can't over text. Some people will be like, well, I just want to text for a while. I'm like, fuck no. You can't get to know somebody through texting. You think you can get to know somebody through texting, but I don't think you can actually get to know somebody through texting, because you're not seeing them or hearing them, and you're just projecting perhaps what you want them to be like, through the narrative that you're telling yourself in your head. So you got to be careful with that shit. Be careful with constantly texting people or constantly messaging or Snapchatting. It's like, just kind of take a step back and look at what you're doing. You're just usually sitting by yourself on your phone, wasting time. And it's like, go out and hang out with people. It's like, go be around people. Go do a class with people. Go work out with people. Go to the library. Literally go do anything. Go to the cafe. Go go fucking sit on your laptop just be around other people. It's important. But anyway, all right, friends, that's the end of the show. Just like that. Sorry about the last couple minutes there. We lost the footage. My apologies. So sorry. We're sorry about that. Good to be here as always. If you enjoyed the show, head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen, where you can sign up for exclusive content where I'm posting on there every Saturday, a full episode just like this one with shit video that goes out every goddamn time. Yeah, patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Head over there if you'd like to sign up. And as always, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your week. If you head over on Patreon, we'll see you on Saturday. If not, we'll see you on Wednesday. Keep doing your thing. Adios.